Imagine a crisp, cold November evening. The year is 1971, and a man boards a plane in Portland, Oregon. He carries himself with an air of quiet confidence, wearing a neat business suit, black tie, and a pair of shades. This man is known only as D.B. Cooper. As he settles into his seat on Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, he orders a bourbon and soda, lighting up a cigarette with a nonchalant air. The flight attendants find him charming, polite, yet there's something about him that sets them on edge. It's not until he slips them a note, a smile playing on his lips, that they understand why. The note, a chilling declaration of his intentions. Cooper was not just another passenger. He was a man on a mission, a daring plot that would soon unfold. But little did anyone know, this was just the beginning of a mystery that would perplex investigators for decades. Once in the air, D.B. Cooper's plan swiftly unfolds. With the plane cruising at approximately 10,000 feet, Cooper's audacious plot began to take shape. He passed a note to a flight attendant, a move typically associated with flirtatious passengers. However, this was no ordinary note. It was a chilling declaration of his intentions. He had a bomb, and he wasn't afraid to use it. Taking the threat seriously, the flight crew alerted the authorities, who sprung into swift action. Cooper, meanwhile, calmly relayed his demands. He wanted $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck ready and waiting in Seattle to refuel the aircraft for its next journey. This wasn't a random act of desperation, but a meticulously planned operation. The authorities, faced with an unprecedented situation, had a decision to make. It was a dangerous game of cat and mouse at 10,000 feet. After intense deliberations, they agreed to Cooper's demands, believing it was the only feasible way to ensure the safety of the passengers on board. As the plane touched down in Seattle, the exchange was made. The passengers were released, unharmed. In their place, Cooper received the cash, neatly packed in a bag, and the 4 parachutes he had demanded. The fuel truck, as promised, was standing by, ready to refuel the aircraft for its next flight, a flight that would take a turn into the annals of criminal history. Cooper's audacity had paid off. His demands had been met. But this was no victory lap. The stakes were about to get even higher. He instructed the pilot to set a course for Mexico City, with specific instructions on the altitude and speed. With his demands met, Cooper was now in control, but the story was far from over. The plane took off again, heading south. But this flight was different. It was no ordinary flight, for on board was the infamous D.B. Cooper, a man who would soon etch his name in the annals of mystery. The usual hum of the engines had been replaced by a palpable tension that hung in the cabin like a thick fog. Cooper, the epitome of calm amid the storm, had given specific instructions for the flight path. He demanded the plane fly at a lower altitude, under 10,000 feet, and at a reduced speed of around 200 knots. These were not random demands. Cooper was a man with a plan. The lower altitude and slower speed would make it possible for him to execute his daring escape. As the aircraft hummed along, Cooper prepared himself for the jump. The passengers and crew were unaware of the audacious plan that was about to unfold. The only company he had was the chilling emptiness of the cabin, the anticipation of what was to come, and the bag containing $200,000 of ransom money. The moment arrived. He stood at the open door, the roar of the engines competing with the howling wind. The night was pitch black, the kind of darkness that swallows everything. The cold air whipped around him as he took one last look at the inside of the plane, the scene of his audacious hijack. Then, with the parachute strapped to his back and the ransom money secured, Cooper leaped. He jumped into the oblivion, disappearing into the night. The plane, now lighter by 1 passenger, continued on its path, its engines humming a little softer. And just like that, D.B. Cooper vanished into the darkness, leaving behind a trail of questions. Questions that would baffle investigators and captivate the world for decades to come. This was the jump that launched one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in the annals of American crime. In the wake of Cooper's daring escape, a massive manhunt was launched. The Federal Bureau of Investigation took charge, swiftly mobilizing agents across the country. The scale of the search was unprecedented, with thousands of agents combing through the wilderness, scouring the potential landing sites, and questioning anyone who might have seen something unusual on that fateful night. The FBI was not alone in their quest. Local law enforcement, military personnel, even ordinary citizens joined the frantic search. The entire nation held its breath, waiting for news of the audacious hijacker who had vanished into thin air. the investigators had a few leads to go on. One of the most significant pieces of evidence was a black tie, left behind by Cooper on the plane. After meticulous examination, the tie revealed microscopic particles of titanium, a rare element at the time, hinting at a possible connection to aeronautics or chemical industries. But despite this tantalizing clue, the tie did not lead to Cooper's identity. Years later, in a twist straight out of a detective novel, a young boy stumbled upon a decaying package while on a family outing near the Columbia River. Inside were bundles of $20 bills, matching the serial numbers of the ransom money given to Cooper. The discovery ignited a fresh wave of excitement, but once again, the trail ended in frustration. The money had been exposed to the elements for so long that it was impossible to determine how it had ended up there. As the years passed, the FBI followed up on thousands of tips and leads, interviewed countless suspects, and explored every conceivable theory. They analyzed fingerprints, reviewed passenger lists, and even employed pioneering forensic techniques. Despite these extensive efforts, the trail went cold, and D.B. Cooper was never found. The case remains one of the most enduring mysteries in American criminal history, a tantalizing puzzle that continues to intrigue and perplex to this day. Over the years, many theories have been proposed about the fate of D.B. Cooper. The disappearance of D.B. Cooper has sparked an array of speculations, each more fascinating than the last. Some believe Cooper was an experienced skydiver who survived the jump and lived out his days in obscurity. Others theorize that he perished on that fateful night, his remains scattered in the vast wilderness. Among the numerous suspects scrutinized over the years, a few noteworthy ones stand out. Richard McCoy, a Vietnam veteran and recreational skydiver, was arrested for a similar hijacking less than 5 months after Cooper's disappearance. Despite the striking similarities, the FBI ruled out McCoy as Cooper due to differences in the physical descriptions and his firm alibi. Another intriguing suspect was Dwayne Weber, who confessed to being Cooper on his deathbed. Although Weber bore a striking resemblance to the composite sketch of Cooper, the FBI found no direct evidence linking him to the hijacking. Then there was Robert Rackstraw, a decorated Army paratrooper. His military background and criminal record made him a viable suspect. However, Rackstraw was eventually dismissed due to the lack of concrete evidence and his denial of being the infamous hijacker. Some theorists have even suggested that Cooper may not have been a single individual, but a group of people working together. This theory, although fascinating, has little evidence to support it and is generally considered unlikely. Despite these numerous theories and investigations, the truth about D.B. Cooper remains elusive. The FBI officially closed the case in 2016, citing a lack of credible leads. Yet, the allure of this unsolved mystery continues to captivate, spawning countless books, documentaries, and even a movie. The identity and fate of D.B. Cooper remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. Despite the countless hours of investigation, D.B. Cooper's daring act left an indelible mark. His audacious escapade reshaped the landscape of aviation security, leading to sweeping changes. It was a wake-up call that sparked stricter measures, such as thorough passenger screening and luggage inspection. But beyond the tangible effects on aviation, D.B. Cooper also left a profound impact on popular culture. His tale of audacity and mystery has been the inspiration for countless books, films, and TV shows. From the nerve-wracking hijack scenes in Hollywood blockbusters to the tantalizing clues left in crime novels, Cooper's story has been told and retold, each time adding a new layer to the enigma. This enduring fascination is a testament to the allure of the unsolved, the thrill of the unknown. And so, the legend of D.B. Cooper lives on, a captivating tale of audacity, mystery, and intrigue that still captures our imagination today.